just to make sure that we are live. If we are live and you can hear me, let me know. Just want to make sure that we are live. If you can hear me, let me know. We're live. If you can hear me, let me know. Bear with me, folks. I'm just setting up this stream. It was giving me some issues. So I'm just setting this up right now. We're going to talk about a lot of things tonight, including NXT. We're going to be talking about AEW. We're going to be talking about, what else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about a new champion on AEW. We're going to talk about an ROH star who is now working with AEW. It is it's interesting, to say the least. Let's get into what's going on. Make sure everybody's here in the live stream. If you can hear me, let me know. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me in the live stream. Let's get in. We can hear. Let's do this. Sorry, it took me a while to get this stream working. Like usual, having some technical difficulties. And let's start off with the big news of the night. By far, it has to be the fact that we have a current ROH star who will be appearing, who did actually appear on AEW television tonight. That is Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb is currently still doing matches with Ring of Honor, and he appeared tonight with AEW. And it's interesting to see. Jeff Cobb isn't signed with Ring of Honor still. He's on a per match basis, but he did appear tonight on AEW Dynamite, and he will be facing Jon Moxley next week on AEW Dynamite. Let's get into the details behind all of this, as basically the story that Jeff Cobb is still with Ring of Honor. He's not signed with Ring of Honor. His deal expired at the end of 2019. According to PW Insider, Cobb has yet to sign with AEW and is currently a free agent. As we noted, Cobb's contract did expire at the end of 2019 for Ring of Honor. This appearance was booked directly by AEW, and his debut should not be seen as any sort of AEW and Ring of Honor working agreement. Cobb recently did work the Free Enterprise event alongside his partner, Dan Maff, and he is scheduled for a number of ROH events in the future, including Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor, which will be WrestleMania weekend on April 4th. Him and Maff are going to be taking on Kenta and Ishimori. It is interesting to see here a current ROH star, despite him not being signed still with ROH, he's on a per match basis, actually working with AEW. They did have promo tonight that they did play. I can play it here real quick. As you can see here, this was the promo welcoming Jeff Cobb to AEW. But as of right now, he has yet to sign a deal with the company. That is pretty big news, considering this is like the first ROH star to show up on AEW while still working with ROH. So I don't know what to say about this, whether or not we're going to see Jeff Cobb actually sign a deal with AEW, or if he's just going to continue to be a free agent and work with Ring of Honor, maybe New Japan as well, and AEW at the same time. Storyline-wise, Chris Jericho is bringing in Jeff Cobb, kind of like a henchman, a goon, to take out Jon Moxley. So it's interesting to see next week Moxley and Cobb do go one-on-one AEW Dynamite in Atlanta, Georgia. The other big news from tonight's AEW event is Nyla Rose. She did defeat Rio, and she is the new AEW Women's Champion. As you may remember, Nyla Rose and Rio were actually going for that AEW Women's Championship on the inaugural edition of AEW Dynamite. They did now tonight have that rematch, and Nyla Rose came on top. She is now the new AEW Women's Champion. In other news for the day, one of the bigger stories from the day has to be WWE Hall of Fame news. According to WrestleVotes, there is a few new names to be expected to be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame. That includes Jushin Thunder Liger, the legendary Jushin Liger from Japan, as well as the Bella Twins. Jushin Liger actually only worked 2 matches for WWE. He has worked for WCW in the past, and obviously his illustrious career in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But it was interesting to see now Jushin Liger is expected to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. He worked that 1 match against Tyler Breeze a few years back at NXT TakeOver. And then the first match was actually WWE worked with New Japan and All Japan in the early 90s, and Jushin Liger did work a match under the WWE banner back then. Also, Bella Twins, they've obviously been in WWE for quite some time. They signed with FCW back in 2007, retired last year. They are expected to be in the WWE Hall of Fame as well, and they both retired early last year, but them as alongside Batista as well in the WWE Hall of Fame, and also NWO. So interestingly enough, so far, if all goes to plan, Jushin Thunder Liger, the Bella Twins, Batista, and the NWO will all be in the 2020 WWE Hall of Fame. In some, I guess, sad news, Teddy Hart, he worked with WWE for a bit. He's a member of the Hart family. More recently with MLW, he was actually arrested. He was arrested yesterday in Virginia, and he is charged with a few things here. He is charged with possession of a controlled substance with the intent to sell. So Teddy Hart, not a good look for him. He is no stranger to the law. As you can see here, here is his mugshot, as well as the booking report from the police records. He is charged with possession with the intent to distribute a Schedule III controlled substance, which is a Class 5 felony and punishable by 1 to 10 years in prison or up to 12 months in jail or a fine not to exceed $2,500. Schedule III controlled substances include anabolic steroids, codeine, some barbiturates, and depressants. He was released by Major League Wrestling in December 2019. So bad news for Teddy Hart. He does have a court date scheduled for the 23rd of April. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that one does go. He doesn't actually have a bond there as well. So the bond is at 0. So he's currently sitting in jail. I'm not sure if he's eventually going to get some sort of bond or if he's going to sit in jail until his court date on the 23rd of April. Other news late last night. Yeah, wrong, Teddy, Boss Don. Other news late last night was announced that John Cena will be returning to WWE Friday Night SmackDown on the 28th in Boston. He's from just outside of Boston. That's where he grew up. And he's going to be on the episode of SmackDown the day after the event in Saudi Arabia. So if for whatever reason the guys in Saudi Arabia get stranded, we still have John Cena on that Friday Night SmackDown. And according to WrestleVotes, basically WWE said you have free reins on what you want to do for WrestleMania, full creative control. So we should expect to see John Cena at this year's WrestleMania. I'm not sure if he's going to have a match, but the fact that he is appearing on SmackDown, I do believe that we'll probably have a match. Not sure who against. Who do you think he should have a match against? John Cena will be appearing on Friday Night SmackDown on the 28th of February. In other news here, we do have next week on NXT, the NXT program following NXT TakeOver Portland this weekend. There is 3 matches set up tonight. Lio Rush He did win a match against Angel Garza to become #1 contender for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. He is going to face Jordan Devlin next week, and the Velveteen Dream will be facing off against Roderick Strong. If you do watch NXT tonight, you did notice Velveteen, did have that promo where he did have Roderick Strong's family on his tights, a la Ravishing Rick Rude back in the day when he did something similar to Jake the Snake Roberts. Also, Chelsea Green with Robert Stone, the Robert Stone brand, will be squaring off against Kaden Carter. A new match was also added to AEW Revolution, as Jake Hager will be making his debut on AEW's Revolution pay-per-view against Dustin Rhodes. And they do also have that AEW Championship match, Chris Jericho versus Jon Moxley. That is coming up. And as far as any other news for the day, another tidbit is the fact that Ring of Honor will be debuting a new women's title. As you do remember, Kelly Klein, she was released from Ring of Honor. There was a lot of controversy surrounding that, and she was still the Women of Honor championship when she was released. She says she was released while she was still suffering from post-concussion syndrome and fired. ROH has a different story, but according to Fightful Select, basically, there might be a lawsuit between ROH and Kelly Klein trying to get that Women of Honor title back, as they have it in, as she has it in her possession. Ring of Honor, regardless, is going to debut a new Ring of Honor Women's Championship. It is the Quest for the Gold. It will be on April 24th at Philadelphia's 2300 Arena. It's a tournament from talent all over the world, including some new faces who have never competed with Ring of Honor. That being said, I'm going to take a few questions before I get going for tonight. A lot of news to take in there, folks. Jeff Cobb obviously was a lot of the big news for tonight. Debuting with AEW, still working with ROH without a contract. It is interesting. So that is the news for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That being said, as always, don't forget to DDT that like button and subscribe. Join the notification squad to be notified of new videos.